Mindset 101. Happy Sunday, my mentally fit tribe, and here we are once again to get that word of encouragement for the week. I trust you're all having a blessed Sunday so far, and we're just going to jump right into it. So the scripture we're going to be looking at for today is Hebrews 4:13, and I will be reading from the New International Version, and it says, "Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account." So, sometimes we are in the midst of some trials, some situations, and we feel as though we are persecuted. There are some things that are happening to us, and we're saying, how is it that God is allowing these people to do these things? Where is God in all this? And, we keep thinking to ourselves, and at what point in time are these persons going to have to be answerable for their actions? At what point in time is God really going to put a stop to it? And, sometimes we get even in the space of we're saying that, we want to see some things happen to them, and we have to remember that even though their behaviors might be unfavorable, they're still considered God's children. And if it's one thing about God, He's very merciful. So even though in our minds they should be feeling the wrath of God based on, the things that they're doing to others, these wounds that they're inflicting on other persons, even though that is our opinion or probably our view as to how they should be dealt with. God is merciful, and if He wasn't a merciful God, then I can guarantee you that, so many of us would probably not be here in this moment. If we were still living under law and not grace, I can guarantee you that many of us would not make it into this moment. We would not be seeing probably 2025, because there were so many laws to have been kept at that point in time. And I mean, you could be keeping, I think it was a lot of laws, but if you fail to keep one, even if you are keeping everything and you fail to keep one, that's it for you, you're doomed. So at times we get in the space of thinking, why is this still happening to me? Why hasn't God stepped in? Why hasn't He done something to these people? Why hasn't He stopped them in their tracks? Why hasn't He allowed their own traps that they're setting for others? Why hasn't He allowed them to fall into those traps? But I just want to reassure you today, that judgment is not for us, and neither is revenge. The Bible does tell us that revenge is for God. So sometimes you're being persecuted and you have some unfavorable things that might be happening in your life. Persons are inflicting some wounds on you that you're really trying to cope with, but be assured that they will have to answer to God. God sees everything, right? Despite the fact that they might not be answering no, and today is not the day when He steps in and holds them accountable, but be assured that they will be held accountable. And as the scripture says, everything is uncovered and laid bare before His eyes. He sees everything, He knows everything. So even when it is that they are doing certain things to you, and then they're trying to paint that picture as if to say that you are the villain, to say you are the bad person, and they try to bring others in that narrative, and before you know it, they have a whole clique of persons who have bought into their narrative, who have somehow seen them as the victim and have joined in, on their little party that they might be keeping. Even when all of that is happening, nothing is a secret to God. God sees everything. He knows everything. He knows the truth, and no matter what version of the truth you might try to create, He knows the whole truth, right? And that is what you will be measured on, what He knows to be a fact, not the highfalutin story that you have come up with, but what He knows to be the fact of the situation. So I just want to encourage you that despite what affliction you might be faced with now, many are the afflictions of the righteous, right? But God is not going to give you more than you can bear. So if it is that He is still allowing these people to do these things to you, if He's still allowing these people to malign your character, if He's still allowing these people, to try as much as possible to disturb your peace, if He's still allowing these people, to come up against you in some way, shape, or form, trust and believe that, there is a lesson behind it all. And sometimes it's character building. Sometimes it's testing us to see, okay, are we going to get out of character? Are we going to lose our peace? Are we going to go and react from a place of flesh? Are we going to come out of the spirit and do these things and operate from that place that we're no longer operating from? Are we going to allow these situations and these people to really bring us back to where we're coming from? So sometimes, there's going to be a testimony out of the tests that you face, out of the character assassination that you face, or out of the injustices that you face. There's going to be a testimony. So I'm just encouraging you to hold strain. Don't go back to that place where you know that you have moved from. Don't allow anyone to take you back to where you know you have grown from. And just be reassured by the scripture that, nothing is a secret to God. So whatever it is that they're doing, that they might be able to disguise to people, they can't hide it from God. God sees everything. He knows everything, and when the time is right, He will deal with the individuals how He sees fit. End of the day, He's a just God, and we just need to keep that in mind, right? And He said to us in Exodus 14:14 that He will fight for us. We need only to be still. So sometimes the things are happening and we feel the need to fight back, but when you get that urge, be still. Be still and allow God to fight your battles for you. So I want to encourage you this week, no matter what afflictions you're facing, no matter how persons might be coming up against you, just know that God is still in your corner, and at the right time, He will deliver you from the situation. Be reassured by the fact that He will never give you more than you can bear. So if it is that you're still getting that pressure, and it is still, there's still an addition to the load that you're carrying, trust and believe that you're able to do it. You're able to do it. He knows you can carry whatever it is that's happening now. He knows you can manage. He knows you can cope. So just continue trusting, continue believing, and just continue knowing that when the time is right, He will make whatever it is that needs to happen, He will make it happen. So I'm Mentally Fit Tribe. Have a blessed week this week. Continue trusting God, continue believing in His word, and just to reiterate the scripture, Hebrews 4:13, nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. So just remember, we're not going to give account to man, to give account to God. All right? Have a blessed week, everyone.